Greetings my fellow freaks and weirdos, I'm Tom and welcome to Monster Gab, where we love to talk about all things horror. And in today's episode we're going to be talking about The Wheel Deal, which was released this year. Or 2023 if you're watching this in the future. Where everybody wears chrome underwear, I'm guessing. So this is another one of those unofficial low-budget passion project movies. Yes, I've reviewed a couple of these now, and I have to say I quite enjoy doing it. It may even be a reoccurring theme here on Monster Gab. So anyway, director and actor Dylan Gard contacted me and asked me if I'd watch his film and possibly review it on this channel. How could I say no? Anyway, here we are. The Wheel Deal is a 10-minute horror comedy about a game show that kills off its contestants one by one. The movie was indeed directed, produced, co-written and even stars Dylan Gard. But it also stars the likes of Jack Dugmore, Ethan Perrott, Fionn Weller and Jack Riley Jones. So here is the synopsis then. 3 desperate contestants in need of finance to help with their personal predicaments are taking place in a dark underworld-like game show that offers big prize giveaways at the risk of brutality and even death. Hosted by Preston W. Bancroft, played by Jack Dugmore, along with his disturbingly silent assistant, the Executioner, played by Dylan Gard, the show is made up of multiple games or tasks that are selected by an electronic spinning wheel. If the contestant is victorious, they win a prize, but should they lose, they face a catastrophic penalty. Hey horror fans, this video is sponsored by Zealous Rebellious Clothing, who believe in encouraging self-confidence, self-expression and the pursuit of passions without compromise. Based in North Wales, they use their passion for classic cars, music, film and societal non-conformity to inspire their designs, with hoodies, t-shirts, hats and much more, using only quality materials and prints. Be different, be rebellious. Zealous Rebellious Clothing. Check out their website, Facebook page and other socials, links in the description below. Let's talk about this movie then, and the biggest thing that stands out for me in this movie are the characters. Bear in mind that this film is only 10 minutes long. The actors don't have a lot of screen time, so they are limited in what they can do, and their characters can only display so much. Yet, it would be unfair to say the characters in this film are two-dimensional, as they all have their own personalities, and it shows. The contestants are clearly in desperation for cash, but as the movie progresses, they give the impression that they are taking part against their own will. And without giving away any spoilers, there's also a bit of character development towards the end amongst the contestants. As for Preston W. Bancroft, the show's host, he's smug, smarmy, full of himself, irritating, as many game show hosts seem to be. But Preston's on another level, he's actually quite annoying. But that's not a criticism, I get it, he's meant to be that way, and we the audience are not meant to like him. Or at least we wouldn't like him if he was a real person. As for a character, he's ideal in this movie. Let's just hope that Jack Dugmore is a good actor and not like this in real life. I'm sure many of the cast and crew will let me know in the comments section. And Jack, if I've set you up for a ribbing there, I apologise in advance. Then there's the Executioner. The mysteriously silent yet twisted and aggressive killer who conceals his face with a sackcloth. Is this character a bit typical? Yeah, maybe. Do I care? No? I'm watching a horror film here. This character is the sole reason why I'm watching. Yeah, if you like brutal kills in your horror, this character might tickle your fancy. Now, a movie of this standard may not boast grand cinematography, but it does have some nice camera work at times. There are some shots on slanted angles for effect, but the best camera work for me was the introduction of the Executioner. Little things like the way he walks into the camera and the shot cuts to him walking away from the camera. It's those little touches that give his character a bombastic entrance. Bombastic, that's a good word, isn't it? I think Shaggy taught me that word. You know, zoinks! Right, maybe not that shaggy. As for the music, it mostly consists of generic game show music, which is to be expected, I suppose. After all, we're meant to feel like we're watching or just tuned in to a game show. And the music's pretty authentic too. It's very fitting with the movie and adds to the comedy factor because this film does not take itself seriously in any way. It really does have that cheesy 80s 90s game show sound to it. Let's talk about the pros and the cons of this movie then, and I'll start with the cons. For a film that's meant to be a comedy, I sadly didn't find myself laughing all that much. Don't get me wrong, this film does not take itself seriously, and I appreciated the satire approach. I watched it with my tongue in cheek and I was entertained regardless. And there were a couple of moments that included the character Alex, played by Jack Riley Jones, that I did find funny. But overall, I personally would have liked just a little more injection of humour. Another con for me in this film is the wheel itself. I would have liked the wheel to have been an actual physical wheel. Now, this might have been a decision due to budget costs, in which case I cannot criticise, but the wheel in this movie is literally just a digital animation on the screen. I personally would have loved to have seen a large, metallic, dangerous-looking instrument literally rotating in front of the contestants. But again, it may not have been possible to produce, I don't know. Now, I'm not going to add what I'm about to say to the con list, as it's more of an observational point, really. Some of this movie does look cheap, rustic, and a bit rough around the edges. Again, this is just observational, it's not criticism. None of these factors stop the film from being fun, entertaining, or enjoyable, but then it's a low-budget passion project movie, and you have to go into these types of movies with that knowledge and mindset, and look past those minor issues. In this movie's case, the props and the set design are probably its weakest factor. But maybe some of the aesthetics were deliberate. After all, it's an unrealistic game show that's dark and gritty. Perhaps the show is meant to be an unprofessional one. I mean, after all, you wouldn't ever actually see anything like this on TV in real life. What if the show was filmed underground or in a warehouse and only leaked to the dark web? I'm sure Dylan will tell me that's exactly what they were going for. But I'm not trying to mock the film here. Either way, and on reflection, I wouldn't know the first thing about making a movie. If you gave me the same budget and the same equipment, I can assure you I would not be able to make a film of this standard, or know where to begin. So, what about the pros of this film then? Well, I've already spoken about the characters, so I'll try not to repeat myself, but the characters are this movie's strongest factor, I believe. The host of the show being the main appeal, or at least in my opinion anyway, and the executioner too, being as intimidating as you would expect a character like that to be. And as I mentioned earlier, the development of the characters in this movie too. Bear in mind that this film is only 10 minutes long, but it's a really nice touch to the film. Then there's the brutality and the kills. If you're into that sort of thing, if you like on-screen deaths and the slasher genre, this movie doesn't particularly have a very high death count, but it certainly has enough to whet the appetite. Another pro for me is the concept. I'm not saying this idea for a movie hasn't perhaps been done before, but it certainly feels original and it's refreshing to watch. One final pro is the moody vibes I get from this movie. As I stated earlier, it is indeed a horror comedy, and okay, I've bashed the comedy side of it a little bit, but the horror is still present. I got a real feeling of discomfort from the contestants who were playing the game, and once again I thought that was a nice touch also. Anyway folks, this movie, The Wheel Deal, is available to watch for free on YouTube. I will leave links in the description below if you want to go check it out for yourselves, and I do implore that you do so, because usually at this stage of my review I tend to give movies a score out of 10, but when it comes to these low budget passion projects, I like to just give a little support to the creators of these films. So what I will say is, go check the film out for yourselves and give it your own rating out of 10, and let me know what you thought in the comments section below. I'd also like to thank Dylan for getting in touch with me and inviting me to watch his movie. Thanks so much, Dylan. I really did enjoy your film. It was great watching it, and I've really enjoyed reviewing it too. I hope that I haven't criticised it too much, but that's just the way reviews go, I guess. Overall, I really did enjoy the movie. Anyway, folks, that is all we've got time for in this particular episode. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I don't know who they are, but if you don't subscribe, they will get you. So make sure you are indeed subscribed. Click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new video here on Monster Gab. Like the video if you did indeed like it. Leave a comment down there and share this with your friends. Thank you so much for stopping by. Take care. See you soon. Bye bye.